This is a winter afternoon in a free world. These are the children for whose sake we fought the evil and the dark men of the earth. And if our children weep, they weep for simple woes, for the fleeting and enchanted woes of the very young. And if they laugh in freedom, in gentleness and joy, in the bright world that is the heritage of childhood. This is America after a great war. Where else could it be? And this is the other side of the world, same year, same generation, where men and women who smashed the enemy with us fought for this goal too, and did not win. These were their homes, and here in the irrevocable yesterdays of peace, families used to come together in simplicity and joy. And women looking from their windows on spring afternoons saw their children shouting at play, and the sun glistening on the gardens they had planted. They were Christian people. They needed to believe in man's humanity to man. And when the last battle was won and the last bomb lay silent, and only hunger was left in smoldering cities, hunger and hope, they waited in humble faith in the hour of victory for their men to come home and restore a world they remembered. Then on the highways of Europe, the men began to walk homeward. The prisoners of war, the soldiers, maimed but free. And those who had been enslaved. And families that had found each other by a miracle in the great shifting of lives moved across the roads of Europe, going home. Going home to countries that wanted them. Here amid ruins were friends. Here was the welcome of governments eager to restore a man's dignity and worth. Here were the flags of their own land, and the soil was theirs, though their homes had been shattered. And with the marvelous persistence of the human spirit to survive despair and fury and pain, the people began to build. Humble signatures of home came to life in torn villages. And there was a day when a man and his children could return with the things they had saved to their own house again. To believe that yesterday Europe had been a sanctuary of terror. In this first moment of liberation, there were hands stretched out to help the hungry, to comfort the bewildered. To make small bodies warm and proud again. And there was food. Marvelous beyond all dreaming was the miracle of food. And the liberators were like gods in the eyes of the children. And there was new light in the eyes of the young, and laughter upon their lips. There was another kind of child in Europe when the darkest years were done. There were boys like this one, who could not learn so soon the ways of laughter. This child remembered something darker and more nameless, a memory setting him apart even from the company of the starved and the orphaned. This was a Jewish child. If he dared to look backward, these were the things he would see again. And if he dared to search, this was where he would go to find his father. And if by a miracle his father should not be among these, this is the way he would have faced his child when at long last he was free. For by a miracle, Jews did come alive out of this cavern of miseries. Alive out of this aimless wasting of human spirit and bone, this destitution of human dignity. And men did come back in the hour of liberation through the gates of this hell. But when they took to the roads with the same brave goal, with the same need and yearning to rebuild, and when they entered the cities of their youth with the same trust in the mercies of freedom, this is what happened to remind them they were Jews. This is what happened in cities all over liberated Europe. The shattered windows of the pogrom. In Kielce, it was a rumor, a flaring of hate, and gutters crimson with dying men. Long ago in Poland, the fathers of these people had learned how to weep. And now in Kielce, at the end of a sorrowful journey, the Jews wept again. And polite voices delivered the official regrets for murder. And even the fighters who had earned on the battlefields the right to be safe in their own homes knew there was no safety anywhere in Europe for Jews. So a place was found for Jews, a way station between fury and freedom. And a name was found for these people who could not go home. And they were labeled Jewish displaced persons. And they were brought together behind barbed wire for safety this time, for protection in a world where liberty had more than a single meaning. And here at long races and evenings of soft security, and now they were nobody's children, or anybody's, for the asking. Ask for the Jewish children. Merciful voices from free lands across the world, the voices of charity. And merciful hands came to the healing of the young and the forlorn. And workers from other countries, reaching bravely into the great welter of children lost and afraid, began to teach them again the forgotten color of laughter. It's a simple thing to make a child laugh again, even the children of Belsen and Buchenwald. A woman's voice with the echo of someone beloved and lost and gone. A toy handled for the first time. An afternoon free of terror. The young could be snared by forgetfulness. For the older children, the children who had to remember, they wanted an answer for tomorrow and tomorrow. What does it mean to be free? They used to whisper to their mothers in the dark night of Hitler. It means we will never be cold again, nor hungry, nor afraid. We will never have barbed wire around us again. And now in the DP camps of Europe, the Jewish children ask, is anybody free? And they remembered that their mothers had told them of a land called Palestine, where boys and girls were strong and full of joy, and Jews were builders and dreamers and free men, and children had friends. There were vineyards in this land, and green hills, and fields of growing grain, and cities and marketplaces, where boys and girls could find work for their hands and hearts. They need you there, the mothers had said. They are waiting for all of you. Palestine is your home. And the children cried, "We want to go to Palestine." This is the Palestine that waits for them today. These are the hills of Galilee, dark with guns. But the homeless children of Europe are not afraid. This is the sound and color of freedom in the land of Israel today. But the children who wait with a vision and a dream are not afraid. Shall those who have known the schooling of Belsen and Buchenwald call this thing bondage? Men and women who survived all nameless griefs to reach this shore are happy enough to kiss the promised earth and be torn away. For from the receding ships that carry them to another desperate interlude, they can see the horizons of hope, and they know that one day they will come back. Here in the prisons that teem under the skies of Cyprus, the driven and the hungry are waiting after the long agonies of flight, waiting in fresh yearning in sight of the promised land for passports to freedom in a free world. And from the heart of Palestine, a thunder of anger reaches them. The anger of men and women who built these cities with their own hands and wanted them to be havens for the homeless and the pursued. But still they come, the fugitives from battered Europe, the hungry and the lost, the women without sons, the boys without brothers, the young men without friends, and still they come. For this is their only home anywhere on earth, their only horizon and dream. These were the forgotten children of yesterday, gathered up like driven leaves from the corners of a world in ruin, brought back with patience and the love of healing hands to a new faith in living. They know their direction now. It lies to the east. They know the language of the land that wants them. They know its songs, its festivals, its legends, and its great harvests. And like a symphony of hope, the voices of the Jewish children of Europe reach out across the earth to the free men and women everywhere who have this cause in their hearts. We want to go to Palestine. And there are doors that open into Palestine. And there are children who enter the promised land and are received with joy and are brought home. Every hour, every day, in spite of battle, in spite of guns, in spite of all that. Free men and women are thrusting the gates wide that Jewish children may enter and be set free under the bright skies of Palestine, free of terror and pain, free of hunger, and free of the memories of grief. This is their home. And with the great strength of their young bodies and hearts, they are keeping this land a home for themselves and their children to come. For all who wait behind bars, the opening of these avenues to life. Shall this child born behind barbed wire come to free maturity in a land that needs him? Shall these boys, learning to smile again, waste their heritage in an endless and desperate waiting? Is this one of the forgotten children?